Good afternoon, everybody. It's nice to see some familiar faces from the Baltic Honeybadger. So once again, my name is Ronan. Basically, I just write code at Hodl Hodl, which is a peer-to-peer exchange, and also I'm the board organizer of the Baltic Honeybadger Bitcoin conference. Thank you. But I just tag along because my co-founder lives in Latvia, Riga, and he organizes the whole thing, and I just come there every year and I'm like, oh, I'm an organizer, I guess. But for those of you who don't know, Hodl Hodl is a peer-to-peer Bitcoin exchange, and we'd like to call ourselves local Bitcoin's competitor. And the reason it's called Hodl Hodl, the first reason is because Hodl.com is already taken, and I'm sure that most of you probably know what the Hodl means, right? But the other reason why we came up with this name is, at first, let me ask you this. How many of you are familiar with the "this is gentlemen" meme? Can you okay, one person, that's very nice. So, that's back in 2013, I think, when the Bitcoin price, maybe 2014, bear market, that Bitcoin price started rising again, and just a little bit, and somebody on Reddit posted, oh, he wanted to say, "this is it, gentlemen," but he missed the "it" word, and he said, "this is gentlemen," and then this became a meme. And so because we wanted our company to be a meme, we started coming up with all those names, and the original name was Local Gentleman. That's what I came up with, and my co-founder said, no, that sounds like a weird escort site, so we don't want to do that. So we settled on hodlhodl.com. And basically, it's a peer-to-peer Bitcoin exchange, and I think, can we go to the next slide, please? Yes, I think not a lot of people maybe realize or understand what a peer-to-peer Bitcoin exchange is, unless they are from a third world country where Bitcoin is kind of in the gray area and there are no regulated exchanges. And again, how many of you understand how peer-to-peer Bitcoin exchanges work? You raise hands. Okay, so that's not a useless slide. I'll use this waste of time, so I'm going to explain that. Basically, on a traditional Bitcoin exchange, you just send them the Bitcoins, and then you trade with everyone else, and you don't care who the other traders are. You just see the order book and you sell and buy instantly, right? And you can do day trading. Well, the reason, the way it works on peer-to-peer Bitcoin exchange is that you trade with somebody else, with a specific person, right? You pick that person based on his reputation, country, payment method, whatever it is. You see the offer list, and then you pick that person. And then, if you're selling Bitcoin, you indicate to that peer-to-peer Bitcoin exchange that well, in the case of local Bitcoins, you still send them Bitcoins into their own wallet, and then they lock that amount that you want to sell in escrow, and the other person sees that, and then he or she would send you the money into your bank account or by any other payment method that was specified in the contract. Okay? And as soon as you see the money is there in your bank or PayPal or whatever other payment system, you click the button on the exchange, and you release Bitcoins from escrow, and that other person gets the Bitcoins. And you can see like the last bullet point, contracts processing takes time, obviously, because depending on the payment method, if it's a international wire transfer, which generally happens a lot less often on peer-to-peer exchanges, then it might take up to 3 to 5 days, and then if it's a national payment system, which is more likely, then it takes maybe, well, in some countries it's instant almost. A contract takes 5 to 10 minutes, or it may take 6 hours or a day. So it really varies a lot. But reputation is really important because there are a lot of ways to scam people. Like how does a peer-to-peer exchange know that this other person actually sent money to this person's bank account. Well, we don't. As an exchange, we don't. And we have a number of ways to sort of, because we're very aware of all the different scams out there. So sometimes the scammers are usually very stupid, and it actually takes a lot of effort to scam in such a way that a peer-to-peer Bitcoin exchange doesn't know that you're a scammer, and then it's just easier to go work at McDonald's and get your money that way, or come up with all the smart ways to scam people on peer-to-peer Bitcoin exchanges. So that's why they exist, and that's why they work, and that's why reputational systems are very, very important in peer-to-peer Bitcoin exchanges. And once again, the reason I asked that question, how many of you are familiar with what a peer-to-peer Bitcoin exchange is? Well, they do exist in third world countries that do not have regular Bitcoin exchanges because, well, Bitcoin is kind of a gray area. And nobody knows it. Well, people still want to buy and sell. Like, people buy and sell Bitcoin in Iran, but they can't use regular exchanges because most exchanges require KYC/AML, and people in Iran are banned from using those exchanges. Pretty much every exchange would say, no, Iran users are not allowed. So yeah, the use cases. It used to be that peer-to-peer exchange was the only reason why multiple Bitcoins, and for a very long time, it was the only peer-to-peer exchange out there. Why was it? For a long time, they were the only exchange. They were wildly popular because they did not require anything. You just sign up. You sign up with your email. You didn't need to have your name there or nothing. And you just create an offer and say, I want to sell or buy Bitcoins in this particular country using this particular method. And that worked. That's why it worked even in countries with regular Bitcoin exchanges where Bitcoin was not in the gray area. And then it all suddenly changed. And also why peer-to-peer exchanges where and are popular, and is because you could arbitrage between peer-to-peer exchanges and regular exchanges, and the reason for that is price premium, right? Because in countries where it's impossible to buy Bitcoin through regular exchanges, of course, you're going to have a premium, and people who have this channel through which they can still sell Bitcoin to regular Bitcoin, sell or buy Bitcoin on regular Bitcoin exchanges, they could make money that way. And I'm sure there are a bunch of other reasons why peer-to-peer Bitcoin exchanges where and are popular and people can still use them. Next slide, please. So now most peer-to-peer Bitcoin exchanges, they require KYC and AML. And we, as a company, we started on this stupid assumption. And I'm going to say why it was stupid. In retrospect, it doesn't seem like it was stupid, but the assumption was that eventually local Bitcoins and Paxful and all the other peer-to-peer Bitcoin exchanges, they're going to introduce KYC/AML. And in my mind, and in the minds of many people, that would just mean that what would be the purpose of them even existing? If they require KYC/AML and other regular Bitcoin exchanges require KYC/AML, and if local Bitcoins now bans Iranian users and all the other users from all those, from all those countries they're not part of the big club, then what's the point, right? And so we started this assumption, and we started thinking, so why would they require KYC/AML? Well, the one reason why regulators come after them would be that they still hold the Bitcoins. That means they were, and they are money transmitters, right? And we started thinking of ways to avoid that, and it is a technical thing, right? We do understand that regulators, that's not what they're looking at. They're not the technical issues of the implementation. But at least that would buy us some time to come up with a better solution. So we came up with this non-custodial solution that is multi-sig. So basically, for every contract, whenever you want to buy a sub Bitcoin, our exchange will generate a P2SH Bitcoin address, which is, we could call it a smart contract buzzword, but that's what it is. And that Bitcoin address would require 3 keys, 2 out of 3 keys to release the funds to the buyer, or refund them to the seller. And our exchange would not be able to unilaterally sign the transaction to release the funds to anyone, right? Unless either, so it would have to be the buyer or the seller would have to sign the transaction, co-sign the transaction, and then the fund would be released. And that's why we call ourselves non-custodial. But like I said, it still doesn't mean anything, because I think the regulators, they're going to come after everyone. And unless you're prepared for that, and we started thinking about ways, how can we be 2 steps ahead of that? Because we're not regulators, slayers. We don't want to be, criminals in the eyes of the law in any country. That's just like, we don't want to hide. It's a nice thing to think, to like imagine yourself being the badass Bitcoiner, but really, people need to be honest with themselves and assess themselves better, and really understand where they stand in terms of like, am I really prepared to be that? Am I really prepared to fight? No, I think most people are not. And so we started thinking of ways, how do we postpone that moment when regulators could come after us. And one of the things that we came up with, we were going to open source the exchange, or parts of the exchange, and then anyone can run their own peer-to-peer exchange, and they can buy a license to use our code, but it will be their exchange, it will be their business to deal with the regulators. Whether they want to make it KYCML or not, it's none of our business. We just want to be software developers, at least when it comes to exchanges. The other ways in which I think peer-to-peer exchanges are in general, let's go to the next slide actually, so we'll get there. Right, so everyone will be, as I said, pressured to comply, and we and everyone else will be looking for ways to, for ways to find non-compliance. And we see that with companies like Chainalysis that are trying to surveil everyone, and then wallets like Samurai or Wasabi, they're coming up with their own solutions to try and avoid that. And I don't know if I get that. I follow both of those companies on Twitter, and they argue with each other. It's like this infighting within the Bitcoin community, even though we're all supposed to do one thing. And fly for one cause, but I think what they're trying to do is they're trying to normalize ways in which we can stay anonymous. And it's interesting whether that's going to be achieved or not. I think most people don't care, and therefore they would need to find ways in which, so like if everybody has Samurai wallet on their phones, that would do anonymity and all those weird, I don't even know what those technologies are called, but they increase anonymity. If everyone has that, yeah, it might work, might not, I don't know. But I think it's a constant fight. It's like technology, yeah, it's just used by states and by the black market, by everybody, and it's just, like Eric said, right? Some people would
want to be in the black market, they want more freedom for themselves, and then there will be people who really don't care, and then there are people who care to preserve the existing system and status quo, and it's complicated, and sometimes even I think, like, which side am I on? Like, I really don't know. I like to think that I'm on the right side of things, but who knows? People get corrupted easily. Let's go to the next slide. Okay. A lot of people also, you've seen that meme on Twitter, I'm sure, that says, Bitcoin solves that. Well, it doesn't, of course, because it's just one element of resistance, right? There are many, many other things, and one of the things that I'm really thinking about constantly is that that became obvious in the last couple of years. Social networks, deplatforming people. Social networks, banks, banking institutions, payment networks, whatever, they were deplatforming people, and it's not about money even. It's about, like, you build your business around YouTube or Facebook or whatever, and then boom, it's just, all your subscribers are gone, and they don't even care, because there are alternatives out there. They don't even care about your content. Even if you're Alex Jones, like, who cares? Like, you just, people got other conspiracy theory nuts out there they would listen to. It doesn't matter. So that's why it's important to have this. And then we see attempts to come up with Twitter alternatives. Like, there's this thing called Gab, right? And there was this, for a while, there was this thing called the Facebook alternative that is kind of not decentralized, but more like, what's that? Diaspora, right. That's a really bad piece of software I tried to install it once. And those things don't really work. And the reason I think they don't work is because they're not on protocol level. And it's like, well, what's the difference there? It's hard to install. My friends are not there. And you market it as a replacement for either Twitter or Facebook or YouTube. There's this BTube thing, now I don't even know how it works, supposed to be decentralized. So nobody really cares. So you can't really market it or create it as a replacement for Twitter or any other social network. What we really need is as a protocol level, something that doesn't market itself as a replacement for anything. And then maybe we can get somewhere with that. I know people are working on those things. Another thing that's been around for a while is, second bullet point, is consumer adoption, merchant adoption, right? And consumer payments. I think it's been around since 2012. There's been a website like Bitcoin Map or something where you can see merchants that accept Bitcoin all over the world. And half those places would go there and they wouldn't do it because they don't know how, right? And Bitcoin is not I know there's a disagreement on that part, but it's not a consumer payment system, right? It's not for that. It's not supposed to be that in my mind. And I mean, it works as such even right now, given the current prices and given the current transaction fees and the situation in the market. Yeah, it might work, but is it really going to be that way? No, it's going to change. And then people started coming with the Lightning Network, which seems to be like a promising thing. We implemented the Lightning Network support on our exchange. Unfortunately, the volumes were super low. So, and also Lightning was implemented in such a way that we became custodial for, like, we have our own Lightning wallet, so eventually we had to remove it, and then we're going to see, like, we're doing redesign now, and we're going to see whether we're going to make a comeback with the Lightning Network that with the design that's non-custodial, which I hear is possible. I'm not a Lightning Network developer, so I'm not sure at this point. But that's one attempt at solving consumer payments and merchant adoption. I don't think that's use case for Bitcoin, or at least most important one. I think there are many others, and a lot of, if you talk to people, they use Bitcoin for many, many different things. Some could consider it a speculation solution. I know Eric has his own views on it. He like a very particular opinion about like what Bitcoin is and what it's supposed to be used for. But I think that if you talk to people, we talk to traders all the time, who are not Bitcoiners by any measure. They don't even understand the basics, and they tell us a lot of different things. Like some of them do trades for speculation, for arbitrage. Some of them buy some Bitcoin for other reasons, like they want to buy illegal things. Some like I don't know. My parents just like to save at hoard. So people have different reasons, and they all are convinced that that's the use case. And I think there are many use cases. And who knows which one is going to be the most important one in the next couple of years, right? But it's all going to change. But I think one important thing that keeps popping up in my mind is that the purpose, one of the most important purposes of Bitcoin is to be able to pay for its own development, right? That's what we did with our exchange. Like we started we self-funded ourselves for many, many years. Well, I don't know, maybe like 2 years, 3 years actually, and then we raised a little bit from other Bitcoiners, right? Not VCs, not some angel, well, they are angel investors by definition, but Bitcoiners like ourselves, right? And that's a very important thing, because that's something that kind of like defeats the system, because what the current system does not want. Why does it have all those anti-money laundering and know your customer laws and regulations? Well, part of the reason is because it's not about illegal activities. It's about making sure that you can't really fund things that state doesn't want you to fund. That not even state, like that the current financial system doesn't want you to fund. And I think Bitcoin solves that, but not other things. So, like I said, we need other elements to the system, and secure communication at the protocol level, where that's something that you can build upon, like you see this recent thing with GitHub, again, deplatforming Iranian users, right? How do you solve that? Well, Git is kind of decentralized, but then everything else is on GitHub. Like you can't work unless you're on GitHub. For many companies, that's the case. And what if you can build a system that, what if you can have a protocol that you can easily build upon, that you can build either on Twitter or GitHub or whatever it is, but it's decentralized, and then use Bitcoin for, to pay people to develop things, or for whatever they're tweeting or any other content they're producing. Or maybe use that to build a decentralized marketplace. But the problem with like BISC, for example, which is also kind of our competitor, it is decentralized, a truly decentralized peer-to-peer Bitcoin exchange. They came up with their own protocol that is not, like, it's not useful for anything else. And that's the problem. That's why people would just lose incentive eventually to work on it, because, well, that's, of course, unbiased, right? And a lot of people call our exchange decentralized, which is not true. We are centralized. And we are decentralized in the sense that we are non-custodial, right? We don't hold Bitcoins. So people like to pick on words. Let's go to the next slide. Is it the last one? Okay. So yeah, like I said, everyone's going to be pressured to comply, and we will be pressured to find ways where we as peer-to-peer Bitcoin exchanges will not be serving to exchange Bitcoins into fiat currencies, but rather into something else. Like somebody wants to buy an airline ticket, for example. Here's a good idea. You create an offer on a peer-to-peer exchange saying, okay, I need to fly to Europe from Hanoi. in a couple weeks and a ticket. That's how much it costs, right? And the other person who has a credit card, he would buy that ticket for you. You would give him bitcoins after, like bitcoins are going to be locked in escrow until you actually take that flight. And after the flight is over, you release bitcoins from escrow. So it's one way to exchange bitcoin into fiat currency indirectly, right? That's not even illegal. It's not illegal. Like there is no law that says that you have to go through KYC to buy somebody else an airline ticket, right? There's no law. So that's one way that's going to buy us more time. Eventually, they are going to understand that that's something people do. Another thing is ordering something from Amazon that actually works, and you can both airline tickets and Amazon purchases. You can verify that this particular person. An exchange, a third party can easily verify this is an existing ticket, right? Because you have a booking reference code for the airline, right? So disputes become easy, much easier to solve with things like that rather than a wire transfer, which we have no idea whether it happened or not because banks are not going to away this information. And with Amazon as well, you can give a third party, such as ours, access to your separate Amazon account, and we can see that this order has been delivered, and therefore, if there's a dispute, then we would release the we'll sign the transaction one way or the other to release the funds or refund them to the seller. So I think those ways, because it's already happening. This last use case is happening with gift cards, but there's a lot of scams there. That way, you don't get a lot of scams because you can verify easily that this delivery happened and this purchase has happened on Amazon. Eventually, of course, we're going to see if that's happening a lot, there's going to be some regulation that's going to be introduced as well. But like I said, it's 100% legal right now, and that's one thing that's on the table that we want to do. And I think other peer-to-peer Bitcoin exchanges can do that as well, except for pretty much every other Bitcoin exchange. A lot of Bitcoin SPACs will all comply now. They all comply now, and they have to. I don't know why, what the reasons are, honestly, because it's always, nobody ever asked us, right? So I'm just wondering, how does it even happen, right? But we have very low volumes, honestly, so maybe that's like, as soon as you get to a certain level of volume where you're noticeable, then that's what happens. All right, so yeah, that's all. Here's my Twitter. Until they deplatform me, then I really know what's going to happen. Probably going to be on, is there any, like a Pornhub account where I can just post regular videos? I'll do that for a while. So if anybody has any questions, yes?
Yes, there's a question here.
I totally agree with you that the future of decentralized exchange is not going to be fiat Bitcoin, also because regulation is becoming tighter. Also, today I received a nice mail from Warex. They want all my wallet, all the proof, otherwise they will block my account without notice. Having said that, your idea, very clever, to exchange Bitcoin with, let's say, voucher, because Ireland you need voucher, Amazon, etc., etc. How long could stay without being under the regulation radar?
What's the question again?
I believe that sooner or later, because Bitcoin or crypto are involved, regulation in several nations, if you involve big companies like Amazon, like the big airlines, sooner or later they will put a ban. So, from your point of view, you will have 3 years, 5 years, which
Sure,
is the time frame?
Sooner or later, we're all going to be dead. I understand that. That's what Keynes was right about. But I think think it buys us time, and it's something that's not illegal right now. Let's do it, right? We have all the means to do that. Don't have to develop anything specific. Like it wouldn't take us a long time to release that new feature where you can do that. Right now, you don't even need vouchers. You just here's the best part of the idea. There are no vouchers involved, right? If I need a ticket, I just see this other person who wants to
It's
buy.
more complex because you have to put names, some, you know,
So
complex.
Yeah, so what? Okay, I reveal my name, right, in order for the other person to buy me an airline ticket, but that's all. Most airlines require just the name, and maybe your phone number and your email, but isn't that reasonable, at least if this trader has a good reputation? If you're talking about peer-to-peer Bitcoin exchanges, well, I have to, if I exchange Bitcoins into fiat currencies, I still have to reveal my name and bank account information to this other trader I'm trading with. So it doesn't really matter in that sense. It's even more private when it comes to airlines or Amazon. With Amazon, I can order under someone else's name to some PO box someplace. So it's better. And it's, like I said, it's legal, so I think it's good. It might work for a while. And it's actually also good because airline tickets are not something that's, infinitesimal. Like, they're quite expensive.
Yeah.
Expensive. And so it's a good trade. Somebody buys me a ticket for $1,000. That's great. That's easier for me. I don't have to use my bank at all. My bank doesn't see anything, and I still get to fly. Wonderful.
Okay, and in 5 years we will find another way to survive.
Well, yeah, if they ban that, if there's a regulation that says you can't buy it, with something that's going to be really difficult. Like, I don't think it's going to be on the level of regulation. Like, what can happen is that Amazon would introduce something under pressure. They would say, oh, sorry, you can't order to an address that's not verified, right? That's very possible. But with airlines, there are many different airlines, and there are also many different merchants that sell tickets for airlines. So you can buy in so many different ways, and I think it's less likely to be. And then things like concert tickets, conference tickets, many things. You can come up with multiple things. It will be very hard to regulate and ban. So I think Bitcoin exchanges will have to adopt those new ways to exchange Bitcoins and come up with ways to fight for a while. It's not something like it's changing very rapidly, and those Bitcoin exchanges that come up with ways to make money with shitcoins and and futures and all of that. That's very unimaginative ways to make money. They still make money, but it's not going to last. I think if you want to build a business that's going to last, you have to say, oh, we have this great non-custodial escrow technology. That's what we have. How many use cases can we come up with? I think a lot, and that's our take on it. We are in it long term, I think. At least I like to think so.